Hey, what's going on, good people? It's Shamar with Alan Lux Studios, and we are back with another episode of The Spotlight. And today I am excited to bring on another photographer. You know what I'm saying? And his name is Chris Aaron of Chris Aaron Photography. What's going on, Chris? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here.
Hey, I'm glad you're here too, man. Appreciate that. Listen, I want to shine the spotlight on you officially, so give me a moment to let me run through this real quick. Chris is a photographer and videographer located in Columbia, South Carolina. He's originally from Queens, New York. All New Yorkers always tell us where they're from, you know.
We got to, man. We got to.
And has been in South Carolina since 2008. He did spend 3 years in Charlotte and traveled often for his clients. Chris specializes in portraits such as personal, maternity, family, business, and branding, and has recently added videography services to his arsenal. Since high school, Chris has enjoyed photography mainly because of the way it made people feel and the value it adds to their lives. He picked up a professional camera when his daughter was born and taught himself the technical side of photography and editing. Through continuous studying, believing in himself, and tapping into his creative side, Chris now owns a successful photography company and is excited to work with you all in the future. He also is the owner of Studio 1950 located in Columbia. Yeah. How did I do with that little rundown?
Perfect.
All right. You wrote it best. Kind of shameless stole from your website, but I thought it was good. You know?
It works.
Yeah. So, all right, first and foremost, how did you get down here to the South, Mr. New Yorker?
Long story short, I was raised by my grandparents.
Okay.
My grandfather passed. We moved back to the South. That's where they're from.
Okay, gotcha.
So grandma was like, we're hitting the road. Papa's gone, so we're gone too.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we packed up and we left New York and we moved down here.
Okay. And you liking it here?
South Carolina.
You liking it in South Carolina?
I like it.
Okay.
It was an adjustment at first.
I bet.
But I've got adjusted to it. Started my family, so we're good.
Good stuff. And you got your first camera when your daughter was born.
Yeah.
Now, how old is she now?
She is 11.
Wow.
My daughter's 11.
Wow. So you've been in the game 11 years?
Been in the game, I say 10. About a solid 10 years. She was at least one before I actually picked up the camera.
Okay. So what, made you want to pursue photography as a career?
It was twofold. One, supplemental income. And then two, camera phones was
right.
or what it is now, and it wasn't back then.
Sure.
So I just wanted to get some quality pictures just of her upbringing and things of that nature. So I started with her as my model, some family, some friends, some people from the church, and just posted online, social media, and it kind of took off from there.
People was liking it.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Good stuff. So how would you describe your photography style?
Me personally, I like the clients to be happy, like I said in the bio. So my style pretty much gravitates to what the client wants.
Okay.
So I do a lot of, hey, show me some things you like, whether it's darker lighting, brighter lighting, whatever the case may be. Me personally, I like the brightness in certain aspects, and then I also like some shadows and darkness sometimes too, just depending upon the vibe of the shoot, the reason for the shoot. But mainly fashion photography, I would say, is my go-to, is my heart is at, but I pretty much do it all.
Okay, good stuff. Now, I'm glad you said that as far as like, show me what you want when you talk to the client, because they don't speak the same language we do.
Nope.
And the best way for them to communicate to us is show me what you want.
Show me what you want. show me what you want. Yeah, I mean, I learned early in the years, it's like, my creativity is not your creativity. My eye is not your eye.
Yes.
And because it was a passion that turned career, I had to realize somebody's paying me for a service.
Absolutely.
So I can't put my creative mind on them. I got to give them what they're looking for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, show me what you want, and I'll do my best to recreate it. And I'm an honest guy, too. If I can't, you might want to go holler at the guy or the young lady who took the shot.
Absolutely.
That's out of my scope. But I do like to see what they're wanting to accomplish.
I heard you say, you turned your passion into a career. They're paying you to do that. And, I found myself in that. At first, it was a passion thing, doing what I wanted to shoot. And now these people are hiring you to shoot certain things. And most often, they're hiring you to shoot what they saw you shoot before. So you're constantly doing the same shoots.
Over and over.
So how do you keep the creativity flowing outside of what they've hired you to do?
Typically, the creativity comes from the client's vibe in the studio.
Okay.
Like, I do my best to make the clients as comfortable as possible. When you walk in there, every client that walks in, the first thing they say is it smell good. It's clean. So once they get comfortable and I kind of see what their vibe is, then we start getting creative.
Okay.
Some clients just have a goal. That's what they want to do in and out.
Yep.
Some clients is like, hey, this is what I want, but you do you. You add your own spice to it. So whether that's bringing in props, whether that's changing up lighting. And because I'm in my own spot, I pretty much know the lighting I want to accomplish.
Yep.
I know where things are, so we can still move quickly.
Right.
The client can see as we go. It's just same thing here in your studio. They can see it on the TV.
Yep.
If they don't like it, X-nay, we'll keep it moving.
Gotcha.
But if they are vibing with it, we'll keep going. But like, if they're willing, I'm willing.
Okay.
But if they're not, it's cool.
Yeah.
Let's accomplish the goal and
Makes sense. So do you do any projects like passion projects outside of your hired projects?
I honestly don't have time. I used to.
Yeah.
I really used to, but I do not have time.
Yeah,
Between
I thought about
photography and now the added videography, that post work, man, it keeps you behind the computer.
It does. It does. And see, people think we're behind the camera all the time.
No,
it's really at that computer.
It's at the computer. The camera's the easy part.
Right.
It's when I get to the office.
Yeah, man, listen, you are segueing me into all my questions because that is another one that I had on there. What does that post process look like for you, or how do you approach your workflow, and do the editing and everything?
Gotcha. So I hate to put this on the camera, but because everybody doesn't get it, but it just depends upon the shoot, the type of shoot, what the client needs are, what they booked, so on and so forth. But typically, I try to get them their proofs as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because I need them to pick them edits as soon as possible.
Okay.
As I am shooting, I shoot in Capture One. So if the picture's not good, I'm gonna delete it instantly. So for the most part, I guess what I'm saying is I try to make sure I got pictures that I'm okay with the client looking at before I even send it to them.
Okay.
Upload it to their gallery. I already created template, copy and paste in the link, let them pick out their edits. They pick out their edits by hitting the approve button in the link. It sends me an email, and then I add them to my almost like calendar of when I'm going to get their edits completed.
Okay. Cool. So listen, as far as the photography, the journey, because you said 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? In this 10-year span, I'm sure you've met a lot of people.
I have.
You've come across a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now, what is one, I want one of each, one memorable moment and one challenging moment. Like, are you kidding me?
Okay. Let's start with the challenging
Okay.
moment. It was when the spotlight poses came out.
Okay.
The dark background, that spotlight, everybody wanted it. When it first came out, I didn't realize that there was a product or item better. So I was just using a regular snoot that you just log on, call it a day. But I had to go get that Lindsay Adler snoot.
Okay.
Made life a lot easier when it
Gotcha.
came to that. But the challenging part was I couldn't get the shot the way I wanted it. That regular snoot was just not doing it. I tried using a continuous light. That didn't work. I tried using my AD200. That wasn't working. So I had to change the scroll, higher wattage, get that Lindsay Adler. I'm sure there's other ways, but that's what I had to do.
Right.
But once I was able to master the spotlight, that made it a lot easier.
Oh, you definitely mastered it because I was on your website and you got the spotlight in the heart shape now. I was like, oh, he getting fancy. I'm just now getting to the spotlight. You added a heart to it. I'm like, okay, I see you.
Man, that spotlight ain't no joke, man. It's a beautiful shot once it's created, but man, creating
Absolutely.
it,
Right.
yeah.
Cool. Now tell me about the memorable moment.
Memorable moment. I would say it was, I hate to get personal, but I would say it was my oldest high school graduation pictures.
Okay.
It was twofold. It was one, he's getting ready to go off to college.
Okay.
And then two,
Oh, your oldest son.
my oldest son.
Okay, gotcha. I'm with you.
My oldest son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing his high school pictures. It like just the reality kind of sunk in that you know, one bird's about to leave the nest.
Right.
But no, it was great. I got great feedback from it. I got more bookings from it, which was cool. We did it at his school. But to the point you was asking earlier, being creative, because he was mine, he didn't have no goal. He just
Right.
wanted graduation pictures.
Right.
So I was able to get as creative as I
go off
wanted
on
to.
it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I was able to style him. So he pretty much had on what I wanted him to wear.
Okay.
So it was definitely one of the most memorable.
Good stuff. Well, okay, speaking of that, so how many kids do you have?
Three.
Okay. Now, you're married?
Yep.
How do you juggle? You already know. So you got your wife, you got your 3 kids, you got your business, and that's full-time, non-stop in and of itself. How do you juggle between all those competing priorities?
Bro, I hate to say it, man, but I literally live by a calendar.
Yeah.
I really hate to say it, but sometimes I feel like I'm scheduling time with the family.
Listen, it sounds, the way that sounds like, you're scheduling it,
yeah.
but you're making it happen, though.
I make it happen.
Yeah.
I make it. Now that time with them does, it is priority. So, but it is scheduled too, though, at the same time.
Yeah, you got to. Listen, you got to do that in both because, sometimes I feel like, and we're going to get into studio ownership here in a second too, but running business, running a studio and stuff, sometimes you have to operate your household like that too. Yeah. Because, if you successfully are hitting all the goals and milestones in your business, well, apply some of those principles in the personal. So you sound like you have done that, you schedule it, and, it may sound bad, but they don't see that. They just see the quality time.
No.
Pops is here,
Nope.
So,
they probably never even heard it till I just said it just now. Oh, you scheduled that time.
Put that on the calendar months ago, right?
That wasn't random at all. But no, I take those opportunities, even when clients reschedule. I don't trip. Like some photographers have like this crazy fee for it. For me, that's just time to go spend with the kids.
Like that.
To go back home with the family, or go do something else, or knowing us, go edit something.
Right, exactly.
Because they got a life too, so they might not even be home. So I'll go and just take that time to go edit.
Okay. I like that. So I'm going to segue a little bit into studio ownership. I've been here officially a year.
Yep. Congrats.
Thank you, sir. Having your name on the door. I already know how that is, but you've been at Studio 1954 almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. November of 2023 made a full year.
Okay.
So I'm going on 2 years.
All right, good stuff. And congratulations to you too.
That.
So in that, I'm kind of leading you in this question, but like, because to me, I see it as a different piece. So it's just added on to the photography business. It sometimes feel like a business in and of itself. Yeah. So how is that balancing between those two? Okay, now I'm focusing on the clients itself versus, I'm actually running and managing the studio.
That was difficult the first 6 to 7 months. I'm not sure if you do it, but like renting out to others, getting things even ready for that, like easy check-in, finding location.
That's right.
I mean, it's not super hard to find, but the GPS doesn't always take you to where it needs to take you to. And if I'm not there, like I can be shooting a wedding and have somebody renting out the studio. If they can't find it, it's not like I can come and answer the door for you. So I had to get creative in a way of which, I made it more convenient for them to rent out. Okay. The bill side of it, keeping that separate from
that's right.
The regular household bills, the maintenance of it, keeping it clean, keeping it stocked with different things for the clients,
right?
And then obviously just the products we use, the products with the items.
Now, do you, in your rentals, do they have access to like lights and backdrops and stuff?
Yep.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Considering
it. So, well, since we've opened up, I've had it available for creatives to come in and rent it. I've only had one do it. It was a church, and they came in to film their own church announcements. Okay. So, they didn't even use our stuff. They brought their own lights and everything. That was cool. Mainly here, the people are renting it out for podcasts, and they want us to shoot it for them. So there's always an engineer here. We always have somebody here. But I'm thinking, like opening up the space, our stuff is here, and, that comes, we have insurance, but I'm like, okay, do I need to make sure that they have insurance? Because if they tear up something, well, we got things to talk about.
Yep.
So a lot of those things are have to be considered. But to your point, also, you found that automating a lot of stuff has made it easy for you to be able to go shoot your wedding while they're running in there. So it's a lot to consider with that piece. So that's yet another reason proving like that's a whole different business in itself.
Yeah. And even the pricing of it is like to your point, if it requires manpower, that's a different price.
Right.
If you're just showing up, if all you need is access, way cheaper than you need an access and meet. Two different things.
Gotcha.
Two different businesses.
Right. Now, do you like studio ownership?
I do. I do. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times I want to be like, you know what?
Right.
I'd rather come give Alan, whatever you charge an hour, use your spot, and I go home. But having your own, I don't know. I think it gives the client a sense of security as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're paying you X amount of money, and for them it could be substantial. It's an investment, into whatever it is they're doing. It could even be a birthday, session. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's they're invested into whatever it is they're trying to do. But I do believe that they get a sense of security and confidence knowing that they're going to a photographer with their own spot. Not to say that, if you don't have your own spot, the client won't be confident in you or won't be secure. But I do think in the back of the client's mind,
Yeah, I agree with that too. Because it'll be 8 years that I've been in the game this July, 8 years. And previous to this spot, I've always did co-ops. Yeah. So it was like between 5 and 6 of us that rented a space. That was a challenge, The shared count and everything, that was crazy. But I will say that my loyal clients, they've gone with me from spot to spot. We done been all over the city, and now that we're here and they see the name on the door, they were more excited than me. So that grand opening, they were hearing stuff, and I agree with you. There's a perceived value that comes with, you're not only a photographer, you have your own studio, right? And they know that they can come to it, and they're going to get the same experience every single time. Now, let me tell you, this ain't about me, but my first co-op studio, the owner, he fixed computers. Okay. And he was in the shop next door. So the photography studio right here, the shop next door was the computers, but his overflow of computers was in the photography shop. I used to have clients coming in, oh, you fix computers and cell phones? No, I do not. I don't. That was so embarrassing. I was so ready to get up out of there. But we've all had some of those experiences. So now, yes. And I will say that learning from those shared or co-op opportunities taught me what I wanted in my space and what I didn't. So I've had years to plan what this space looks like. Yeah.
And I agree with you there because I'm doing better now than I've ever done business-wise because of the mistakes made. For an example, I got my first studio only like 3 years in the game. Had no idea what I was doing. Shouldn't have done that. Wasted money. Clients wasn't really where it needed to be, but I thought in my head I had to have a studio. Yeah. Then I did the co-oping thing for a while. That was cool. That shared calendar is crazy.
Yes, it is.
That shared calendar is crazy. Now, to this day, I still believe it'd be deleting stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just
right.
And then you show up at the same time with two different clients, like, oh, who leaving?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do in that moment? Somebody's got to pivot.
Yeah, exactly.
People can't shoot at the same time. Yep. Unless the spot is just that big. But for me, it wasn't. But I knew going into the studio that I have now, I had to do it the right way, and I did it the right way, and I'm proud of myself for that.
Good stuff. So, let's talk about some of the aspiring photographers, aspiring studio owners and stuff. What is some words of encouragement, some advice you can give them as they embark on this journey?
That is a good question. I would say pace yourself. I would say do your research on the area, do the research on the property. Honestly, get your measuring tape. Make sure the ceiling's where it needs to be.
Right.
You can ask my wife. When I got this studio, I literally drew it out. I'm not an artist as far as drawing, but I literally drew it out, and I drew out how I wanted it to lay out. Okay. And if it didn't work, I wasn't going to get this spot.
Gotcha.
I made sure that I can pay it with at least 2 or 3 clients. Yep. Because if I need more than that, I don't need that spot. Agreed. Because you know as well as I know, you can get a deposit, but that don't mean they're going to show up.
Exactly. Yep. Absolutely.
Does not mean they're going to show up. Unless your deposit is the full amount,
right,
you're going to be in some trouble sometimes.
Right.
So I would just say pace yourself, do your research, and know that that's something that you want to do. There are some photographers that just don't want their own studio. And if you think you have to have a studio to get clients, that is not the case. I know some very, 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 very successful photographers and videographers that does not have their own spot. But what they've done is they made partnerships with other photographers or videographers in the city, with local venues, hotels, things to that nature, to where, because of that partnership, they can go in there
Yep.
X amount of times a month or hours per month.
Agreed.
And
Yep.
still create for their clients and, build
Right.
their business.
Yep.
So that's what I will leave them with. And definitely make sure that you're financially ready for it. Even before you get into it, don't get into it thinking you're going to make X amount of money. You should already be making that, and then go get your studio.
Absolutely. Listen, and then for the ones that's beginning, I would just add on to that is because you said pace yourself, and I like that. And also the scales of comparison are always going to be off.
Yeah.
Don't ever pay that attention. Yesterday I shot did a prom portrait, and they wanted to do it at this parking deck that had a skyline as the backdrop. I get out there, 6 other photographers. I'm like, so everybody know about this spot, and it was a young cat up there. He was dressed the part, he had his black slacks, his black button down, service, industry blacks. And he was feeling a little bit, I guess, intimidated because some of the other photographers, they had a light on the C-stand, and then I came out with the 70 to 200, so he's looking at this stuff. And he asked me what I shot with, and I told him, and then he was like, I said, what are you shooting with? He was like, man, just this T7. I'm doing the best. Boy, pick your head up. Listen, I started with a T5. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Somebody thought you was good enough to, book you to come in here today. He had 3 clients come out there. So I'm like, he was waiting on, he did shot one while I was there, and then he was waiting on the other 2. Like, listen, at least 3 people thought your little T7 I was good enough, so don't compare it to others. And so I guess speaking of that too, have you found that, there's a notion of there's gatekeepers in our industry and it's hard to network and stuff?
I have experienced that, especially in the beginning. I used to meet photographers, like you said, he was able to walk up to you, you actually answered. I've encountered situations where I walked up with photographers and they just burst their shoulders off, They give me a time of the day. There was this one young lady, and I can't end this podcast without thanking her, Whitley Bell in Columbia, South Carolina. She was one photographer that I walked up to, asked for help, and she literally did just that. She said, show up on this date. This time, I think I had a what was it back then? 3? T3?
Yeah.
So I had my T3.
Yep.
I showed up with her and her client, and she literally walked me through the process in that moment. And from there, I was good. So to this day, I'm grateful for her. But to your point, I don't know why that is in this industry. I don't know. I guess I kind of understand why. But then I don't understand why at the same time too. So to that young man who was there, I would also say to him, majority of the time, I believe people book you based off your eye and your creativity.
That's right.
Me and you can have the same camera, the same lens, the same settings, even down to the white balance,
right,
and still not get the same shot.
Absolutely.
Because our eyes are different. What you see is what you see. What I see is what I see. And then there's clients for your eye. There's clients for my eye, and there's clients,
absolutely,
who likes his eye.
Yep.
And that's okay. That is okay,
Absolutely,
but I do hate that there is like that gatekeeper mentality and not wanting to share. But there's so many people in this world. Yes, this industry is saturated. I have moments like, dang, another photographer, and not in a bad way.
Right.
It's like we popping up left and right. But what I should be saying is, yes, another photographer. There is somebody else who's passionate about something that I'm passionate about too.
Absolutely. And listen, that's why I wanted to make sure that I had you come on, because I want to show my audience that, listen, it ain't none of that gatekeeping over here. We're going to share. We're going to share alike. I'm definitely going to show y'all his page and his work and everything, because it's oversaturated, or I ain't gonna say oversaturated, but to the point of, is low cost to entry. You know what I'm saying? So that's helpful for a lot of people, especially a lot of Black and brown people. If you don't have that startup cost, it is low cost to entry. So it is something to get into. And then, everyone separates themselves, whether it be on work ethic, to your point of the eye, because there is going to be somebody that likes your style versus another one and stuff. And then 2, I have clients where I don't shoot weddings. They already know it. Don't come over here for that. No. But, they'll go hire somebody else to shoot their wedding, and then they'll come back for their event or something like that. So we can all bounce off of each other. Now, if you said, Shamar, I got this wedding, I need a second and a third, I'll come be third. You know, listen, I'm gonna be third, and I'm gonna give you that SD card before I leave. But you know, I think that we can all we all can eat together. We all can learn from each other.
Yeah.
And you know, with you in Columbia having the studio, you've had yours longer than me. I can hit you up, ask you a couple of questions. You know what I'm saying? If I get, that's how I think it needs to be, and that is what will help all of us be more successful than to try to hoard the information.
Everybody will be successful in that moment.
Yes,
I
yes, sir.
Everybody will be.
Yeah.
Because like to your point, I don't do babies. I've done a couple, but
Like,
that ain't my thing. That ain't my thing. You look at my page, you won't see none.
Yeah.
Even if I took their shot.
Right.
I might
I'm
have
not
been tagged
advertising
in
it, right.
but I'm not advertising it. No.
Right.
That is not my thing. But there are photographers out there that is their thing. Like you said, you don't do weddings. I do a handful.
Yeah.
I do it. That's usually my gear money. I use that as my gear money.
That's
my lens upgrade on my camera.
Yeah. We get a couple of years so I can get some more gear. Yeah, that's what's up. Cool, man. Listen, I appreciate you coming in here. I want you to tell them where they can find you on social media or where they can get your website to get in contact with you.
Okay, perfect. Hey, again, thanks for having me. Instagram is @Chris Aaron. Facebook is Chris Aaron Photography. And then the website is www.chrisaaronphotos.com.
Cool. Again, appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Good stuff, man. How was that?
This was fun.
Good.
This was fun.